Brought to you by Noah's Arcade.
And go.
Don't ever say one.
No, because it's anyway. Yep. And go. Yes.
Hello.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are
Hello.
Vanderhoff and Co. Hello, Phil.
Gents and ladies. Hello. Which one am I? A lady or a gent? One will never know.
No. Your voice makes it sound like you're a man, but
my face makes me look like a woman.
It's a good job you have that beard.
Well, you know,
we'd be
only they got an occasion.
Confused. Yes, once again, hello, folks. Vanderhoff and Co. Episode 18.
Is it really?
Yeah.
My God, we're actually doing some podcasts nowadays.
We are. For our adoring public, all
because they love
three of them.
More than three.
Well, quite possibly. Yes, I'm High Definition.
And I'm Monkey Man Phil.
It's kind of a special episode because where were you last weekend, Phil?
I was in London in a place called the Tobacco Docks.
Oh, were you doing some smuggling?
I wish I was, mate. I wish I was. No, I was at EGX Rezzed.
Sweet! For anyone out there who doesn't know what it is, what's EGX Rezzed?
EGX Rezzed is mainly to do with indies, but it's basically like EGX, where you've got all the games that are literally coming out or are out at the moment of time, but more for indie section and for PC games. So it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to get onto things, just with unusual things that you wouldn't see unless you actually search for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Is it as crowded?
Not as crowded because it does Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Thursday is quite quiet because obviously people are still at work. Thursday is a little bit busier, and then Saturday is a bit manic.
You mean Friday?
So I think everyone buys. No, Saturday. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, you went Thursday. So
Thursday, Friday, Saturday then.
You were a little bit sleep deprived, weren't you?
Yes, that was the issue when you go up Thursdays after working until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you have 1 hour sleep before you have to leave. Not a good idea, folks. And you go by coach.
So
kind of kills you.
It was good, was it?
I enjoyed myself, definitely. I got to play on a lot of new games that I haven't seen before, and a lot of games that I have seen and will be playing. So it's quite nice to be able to get onto it.
What stood out?
In terms of me, things that definitely stood out was a game called Black and White Bushido, which is one of the ones that I really enjoyed from the second I started playing it. It's a couch game, as they call it, where you got 4 people, about 2 to 4 people, sat down around a screen, playing the game, and the maps change depending on light and dark. And as the light hits, you have 2 people that are white and 2 people that are black. And as the light hits, if they stand still, they can't be seen on the map, so they can attack without being seen unless they move too fast. And it's vice versa for black team as well. So it's but it changes constantly. So you could be stood still and it goes black, and then you just show up easily to be able to be seen. But you can throw down smoke bombs, you can throw ninja stars and things like that just to take out people. But it works so well and it's really smooth. I really enjoy myself playing that game.
Oh, that sounds very cool.
Yeah, definitely well looking into.
I think actually, sorry, interrupting. I think I saw them at EGX in September.
Really?
Yeah, it rings a bell.
What, Black and White Bushido?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure they were in the Rezzed section.
Might have been. I might not have noticed it myself.
It was very busy there.
Very, very busy, yeah. So this one had a lot of people around it wanting to jump on it and play it, but then I think there was a reason. I think it was if you took out one of the guy that was dressed as a ninja, then you got a free version of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I just wanted to have a quick go because I was trying to get through everything as much as possible.
Yeah.
Another game that you might have seen at EGX last year that I did have a quick go on again by myself this time was Dead Pixels 2 straight to video.
Oh yeah, saw that, but didn't play it because that was busy at EGX last year.
Yeah, this one was last year. Me and Ant played it. This year I just played it by myself, and you basically take on like hordes of zombies in a sense, but like going forwards, like collecting things and taking them out. But as soon as you die, your score is taken by reversing time like an old VHS player, and that's your score. So it rewinds it like an old VHS to get your score, which is pretty cool. And like as you're playing through it, do you know you used to get the old skips in the old VHS?
Yeah.
It does that during the game. It's quite a nice scene. Like you don't see it like games that come up with different things nowadays. So it's quite nice to see something like that.
Oh, that's very cool.
It was, yeah. I was just quite happy to see something like that. The another game that definitely caught my eye, which is, if I can remember what it's called, because there was just so many. I've got a code for it, which I need to get hold of a Oculus Rift to play it though. It's Carpe Lucium Seize the Light.
Oh yeah.
And it's very simple, sort of using 3D with the Oculus Rift, but using lights to shine through things, and you have to just like, do you know like the old water game where you had to get water from one side of the map to the other side? I can't remember the name of it, but you had like pipes connecting to get from one to the other. Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's
it's very similar to that,
classic.
but just using light. But instead of having it as flat, it's all three-dimensional. So the light bends in different ways, and it's just so relaxing, and it doesn't affect your eyes in any way, shape, or form. It's really nice to play.
Oh, cool.
Like I really enjoy myself playing that. I'm literally just trying to figure out what else I played.
Saying about Oculus, didn't you had a go on the PlayStation VR, didn't you?
Oh, don't make me so happy. I was so lucky to get on that, to be honest. I asked if I could go in, and the guy turns to me and he's like, yeah, you can just go in, just have a look around. You can't really do much. And the first thing I see as soon as I go in there is Rezzed Unlimited, I think it's called. And I stand there and I'm just like smiling from ear to ear. And I look at the guy and go, the guy out there said I can't take photographs of the screen, but can I take a photograph just of that sign? He looks at me and goes, are you okay? I was just like, no, but you don't understand how happy I am just to see this right here, right now. You don't understand. He goes, give me 2 minutes. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, just 2 minutes. I was like, okay. Waited there for 2 minutes. He goes, jump in now, come on. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm going to let you play it because you're so excited about it. I was just like, I think I lost my everything everywhere. Like, I was so happy. And I tell you what, the experience itself is freaking amazing.
Yeah?
Amazing. Yeah, like, I don't care about the other games. If I get Rezzed and I get that, I'm happy. Like, it was so good.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Like, it's up there as one game that I would recommend to people.
Ah, awesome.
And actually, another one that I wouldn't say no to is that Nelly Kutalot. I can never pronounce it. The guy kept telling me that I was getting it wrong, and I was just like, you've got such an unusual title. And he goes, yeah, I do it on purpose to make like make it difficult to say, but also it's named after his girlfriend. It's quite. He goes, oh, I said to him, can I just play the game just quickly? And he goes, yeah. I sat there for about 30-40 minutes playing the game. Didn't even realise it was 30 or 40 minutes. I get off because there was a guy sat next to me watching me. I was like, oh, sorry, did you want to play? And he goes, I looked over, I was like, oh, have you been waiting there that time? He's like, yeah. I was like, is that about 40 minutes? He went, yeah. I was like, oops, I'm sorry. He goes, well, no, you're the furthest one, like the person who's got the furthest in the game, but you've just enjoyed it, I'm guessing. I'm just like, yeah, I've loved it, every second of it.
What other titles did you take a look at whilst you were there?
Another one that I jumped on a couple of times every time I saw that there wasn't enough people to play it, was a game called Last Fight.
Last Fight?
Yes.
Is that like Final Fight?
I'm now trying to remember. Literally, my mind blank. Final Fight? Probably not. This one is.
It's kind of like a 3D fighter kind of a thing.
It is, yeah. 2v2 or 1v1. A lot of people seem to be pushing the whole concept of like teaming up against each other, which is different.
Oh, okay.
but you team up with someone else and basically just take out the other two people. First time I sat down and played it, I was sat next to a guy. This guy just jumped in, and I was just like, "You're right." He's quite quiet, very quiet. So I was just like, "Okay." So I beat him on the first time, and he turns to me and goes, "Oh, the controller stick isn't working." I was like, "Okay." So I called over one of the developers. I was like, "There's an issue with the controller stick. Can you sort it out?" So they just passed him another controller. Played it again. I beat him again. At this time, he didn't blame anything. He just walked away. I'm guessing he wasn't happy with the fact that he lost, but you know.
Well, it kind of looks like Power Stone, the old Dreamcast.
That's what I was trying to figure out what it was called. I was stood there going, "This reminds me of a game on the Dreamcast," and I can't remember what it's called, but it's up there, and I cannot remember it.
Yeah, it just reminds me of. Looks very much like Power Stone, only a lot nicer. But
Yes,
yeah, it looks good.
they got like funny abilities. So collect I think it's like steroids in a way. You collect steroids, and if you collect 3 of them, your character just goes insane, and you like literally don't take that much damage as you beat them up. So you're just like running around, just smashing everything, and not getting a single bit of damage. It's kind of funny to watch. Another game that I saw, I didn't get to play it because every time I went to go and try and play it, someone was on it, and it's one of those games that I think you have to finish it to be able to go, "Oh, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'll let someone else have a go." And it's called Manual Samuel. And all it is just living someone's life, but in a horrible, horrible, horrible way. Just think of like Quap. Think of like Quap. Do you know how annoying that game? Yeah, do you remember Quap where you have to run from one end to the other end, just 100 meters?
No. Oh yeah. No, yeah.
It's very similar to that, but you have to live your life. So the first thing you have to do is brush your teeth, but before you have to do that, you have to go to the toothbrush. So you have to walk, but at the same time you have to control his breathing.
Right.
Because if you don't control his breathing, he dies.
Okay.
Then you have to brush his teeth, but as you're brushing your teeth, you have to control the breathing, otherwise he dies.
Wow.
It was one of those games that I think I would probably die so much from just pure laughing because how ridiculous it is.
Fair enough. It sounds kind of Quap, kind of Octo Dad, kind of mental controls.
Yeah. Horrible but nice at the same, like horribly terrible but yet so good at the same time.
Yeah.
Another game. The guys I spoke to about doing an interview, and he turned to me as well afterwards because they were doing a free giveaway for the game itself by doing a time trial. And it's called Rising Island.
Okay.
Which is a platform game, but it's a 3-dimensional platform game where you have to transfer your color from red to blue depending on what surface you're running off of.
Yeah.
So it's like a strategy platform game in a sense. So you're having to jump off of like red platforms, jump and change your color to go onto a blue platform to run across it, or change back to a red to slide along something to get something and get to the end of the level. I think I got something like 67 seconds. And he goes, "That's probably the quickest time I've had all weekend," and I did that on Saturday. So hopefully we might be winning a copy of Rising Islands.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw an email about something like that.
The email one was for a game that I wasn't massively fond of, to be fair, and I don't really like to speak bad of games, but I found it a little bit dull.
Oh, no. Okay. That was Starship Mechanic.
Yeah, Starship Mechanic. It wasn't great, personally.
No.
It was just blocks, and you're inside like the ship, and you just got to like fix it and fire rockets, and it just seems a bit silly in a sense.
Fair dues.
Not much to it in a sense. Another game that I wanted to get onto, but there's only one screen, and the queue for it was ridiculous constantly. Was a game called Snake Pass, where you control a snake just to collect eggs. Yeah. So cartoony style, but you have to like it's like Octodad again, where you have to like wrap around a stick just to get to the top of it, otherwise you won't be able to reach it, or you have to like wrap around like certain things in a certain way to get the egg, otherwise you won't be able to reach it. It was kind of funny to watch, to be honest, just like watch other people playing it.
Oh, okay, because that's by Sumo Digital.
Yes.
They also did. Oh my god.
Was it Crackdown? No.
Oh, they did the newer Little Big Planet.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, they did that.
And Forza Horizon 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As my Google powers working overdrive this evening.
Wow. You know, someone's got to use those Google powers.
Indeed.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, another game that I loved, which we've got an interview for, is the Featherpunk Prime.
Featherpunk Prime?
Yeah, the guys from, actually, I knew this because I told them how far I came, from Southampton.
Oh, they're from Southampton.
They are indeed, so big up Southampton.
Yeah.
Featherpunk Prime is, I thought it was an ostrich, so I made the resemblance to, I want to say, Joust, thinking it was an ostrich. It's not an ostrich, silly Phil. It's a flamingo.
Of course.
So you're going to start the interview with me going, I like ostriches, they remind me of this.
And you're immediately wrong.
Yep, I'm just like, oops, shouldn't have said that. Hi, it's Phil again from Noah's Arcade, and I've just played Featherpunk Prime. I'm talking to...
Stephen Payne, artist at Super Hatch Games.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about this game before we go into a bit more detail.
Okay, so Featherpunk Prime is a challenging twin-stick platformer shooter, and you play as a super agile robot flamingo, and you make your way up a neon-soaked tower, and you fight hordes of avian warbots. And your mission is to bring down the Cyberdroid Corporation with your upgradable powers and weapons.
So I might have made a common mislink there with Joust earlier, which now I feel a little bit bad because it's a flamingo, not an ostrich.
It's whatever you want it to be.
So where did you get the idea for doing this sort of game?
So there's two core people in our team, programmer and artist, and we worked for Sony for 8 years. We most recently worked in the VR worlds. We decided time was right to leave and do our own thing and make a kind of smaller, more intimate game, more kind of traditional, along the type of games that we like playing.
Yeah.
And we wanted to merge sort of the intense, high-paced action of twin-stick shooters with a more traditional action platformer, that we could build a really interesting world that we hope will appeal to people with a kind of sci-fi, cyberpunk vibe going on.
Yeah, it's just definitely got that sort of like cyberpunk sort of look with the pinks and the oranges like glaring out at you, not glaring, but like coming out at the screen, like obviously to give it that futuristic sort of look, which is really nice. It handles really well, and I found it did anyway. I did find I didn't realise that you could reload at one stage because I put down a proximity mine and I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't realise I could reload with it. So I finished the first level without having to kill anything. Probably not the best. So you've got quite a bit of a basis off, like, I'm just trying to think of other games now. I've literally just gone void.
Our core idea is that the tower has a series of checkpoints that are unlocked by defeating bosses. So we haven't decided on the number of floors, but there's 6 sections. At the end of each section there's a boss.
Yeah.
So when you defeat the boss, you can then go teleport back. It's like a fast travel back to that floor.
Yeah.
But if you're then struggling with that boss, you can enter the tower lower down, where the enemy's a bit easier. It's still challenging, and get some loot that way to upgrade your character.
Okay.
And attack the boss again.
Right. Okay. So it's got like a bit of Oh, my head is... Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Sorry, I'm tired too.
Yeah. Right, anyway, forget about that. Because I don't even know where I was going. I know where I was going with that, I just can't think of the name of the game.
Rogue Legacy has been one of our...
Yeah.
A bit. There's been a few, really.
So... You've got a numerous amount of bosses that you've obviously got to try and take down and stuff like that.
Yep.
You haven't got a number of those. the concept between behind the birds, where did that come into it? Like, why did you go for birds?
I seem to have a thing about birds.
Okay.
The lead animator at Sony actually, he said, like, you've got a thing about over a few games that we made at Sony. Yeah. I'd just somehow being the one that animated birds.
Oh, fair.
And I think somehow it just got lodged in my brain to animate birds. So we wanted to pick because obviously we can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've been making my own game. Yeah. So wanted to pick a kind of positive limitation. So, right, if we make it this theme, then we can base everything around that. Yeah. And I liked the idea of a flamingo or an ostrich, if you see it that way.
Sorry, I'll go with flamingo.
To kind of really stand out with the kind of pink, vibrant colours, and we thought we could work in a nice story that we haven't spent as much time on at the moment because gameplay is a priority. Right? And some people might, like this person, skip the intros.
A lot of people do. You probably do skip that sort of stuff and just want to see what the gameplay's like.
Get straight in there. So we didn't want to focus too much on story, but it is there for people. You'll be able to collect story items to unlock cutscenes and more to the backstory of the birds.
So you've got loads of different weapons on this, haven't you? So I don't know how many you've got overall.
I think we've got 13 in this demo so far. We're hoping to add a lot more different styles too.
So you had like a minigun, a pistol, a crossbow, which all do like obviously different things, damaging people, birds, sorry, damaging different avian birds. Sorry, birds are people.
We've got a range. We've also got kind of quite bespoke weapons like the sentry bot, where you can deploy a small bot that will then shoot targets for you. And also, slight spoiler, I guess, but you unlock a buddy character, which you can see on the art there. The first boss. So after that, he'll then travel around with you. We're playing around with the idea of maybe making that like a two-player drop in, drop out.
So you could like work together to obviously get to like finish the game.
Yeah.
Maybe that second character doesn't have as much life or something.
So it would be a lot weaker. But we've got some ideas for a few tricks. You can deploy him as a shield or that kind of thing. Okay.
I keep thinking of questions and just forgetting them. I'm so sorry.
That's right.
Oh dear, today. I keep wanting to go back to inspiration. I am so sorry. I am not mind blank at all. So you're coming out on PC.
Yeah, that one. PC is our primary
target at the moment.
Target platform, but we've had our concept approved for Xbox One and Microsoft platforms. So we're speaking to platform holders about that. We hope to bring that out. We're not sure of release date, but it's definitely we want to bring it to consoles at some point.
I just saw again when someone else is playing the leveling up system. How does that work in the game?
So enemies and item eggs drop these things called tech cells, which you collect. You have to get them quickly. They're on a timer, so you have to collect them quickly. And then you can hit pause and go into your upgrade screen. At the moment in this demo, we've got 7 things that you can upgrade, ranging from you can get a shockwave damage attack that kind of is like a clear screen attack. You can upgrade your reload speed, your health, the firepower of the weapons, and then we've got some ideas for final release for having some kind of crazy modes where you'll turn into some sort of demon bird with lasers coming out of their eyes and
take everything down.
Some crazy ideas.
So is all the levels, because this is the first level again, but it seems very different to what I played. Is it randomly generated?
So it's kind of a mixture. It's procedurally generated, but it stitches together a series of rooms, and these rooms have been handcrafted by us to give the best kind of enemy scenarios and the best item drops and the best ways for you to move around to make it the most fun. So it's procedural and it will feel different each time, but it's using well-designed rooms.
The other thing I did notice is they've got these little spikes on the ground. What are those?
Yeah, they used to look like traffic cones. I think they look more like Christmas trees now. So one of the early playtests, someone said it would be good if you could destroy the spikes. So
yeah,
so we put that in, but they kind of pop up. There's a few behaviours with them. We wanted to add a few traps around the place.
Okay.
The platforming isn't. There's no fall damage, so the platforming isn't as core a feature. It's more about traversal and using the environment to get around. Yeah, using it to advantage with your moves. You can cling to walls and boost and slide along the floor.
It's very easy to pick up and just understand what's going on quite quickly. Like,
great, thanks.
Obviously, like when I looked at I always look at the control layout and I'm like, that looks confusing, and then I just pick up and I'm like, that's not that confusing. Why did I think that was confusing? But it just works so well.
Thanks. Yeah, we've had a bit of early feedback was that putting the fire and boost on the shoulder buttons, they would prefer them to be on A or B, but if you do that you can't aim and jump and shoot at the same time.
I think they're perfect the way they are personally. Like with how the buttons are laid out, it feels like you get the smoothest and fastest response to what you want.
Right, great, thanks. Yeah, that's something we really wanted to. The main focus is getting a really responsive character. That we could. Look, ideally, all the challenging games, it's the fault of the player when they die. We really wanted to make it as minimal chance possible that it's the game's fault.
Yeah.
By giving the player lots of abilities and really responsive controls. So that was our aim with that.
So you say when you're going to do, like, obviously you're doing a level like this gentleman here. You're doing a level and you get to the end and you can't beat the boss. You can redo that whole lot again if you wanted to, or
so
if you find it a little bit too difficult for yourself.
Yeah. So when you die, you can restart at the start of that section.
Yeah.
But you keep your progress, you keep your tech cells that are converted at the end of each floor. So you can power up your character and then have another run at the boss.
Which is different. It's not many people do that sort of thing, really. So it gives you that ability to just try, but if you're struggling, you can just go, well, if I do it again and level this up and this up and this up.
Yeah, that was it. We didn't want people to get stuck. They'll always be able to go back to early levels where enemies are still tricky, but the amount of loot they drop is less. So they'll still be able to kind of level up that way and take on the bosses later on.
And obviously, gain more health and gain more damage from weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
makes
it.
A little bit easier, and a little bit more appealing to people, especially like when you get used to a game. It can be quite difficult at first.
Yeah.
And then you get to the boss finally after spending so much time, and you can't seem to beat it.
Yeah.
Have you got a release date for it as of yet? Or?
Yeah, so we're planning to release it in August 2016 this year.
That's just for the PC, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, definitely time. PC, and then hopefully consoles. But there'll be some more news about that later.
Okay. Are you on Steam at the moment to find?
We're actually on Steam Greenlight.
Yeah.
So you can vote for us there.
Awesome. Already get in.
Yeah, we went on a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to be going well.
That's good for you. Is there anything you want to finish with, just to sell it to everyone?
I should really mention a bit about the music, because
I completely forgot about that.
It's
really
done
good.
A great job.
Yeah.
They've kind of taken their ideas and run with it, and kind of reinforced the art style. We think we've made an engaging, interesting world. My background is purely as an animator, so the kind of modelling and texturing and stuff is something I haven't done professionally.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to base everything around having the animation as the strength, so that everything is kind of really alive. Everything moves a lot and kind of bounces, and to get that kind of energy, which would then kind of reinforce the gameplay.
And the music does fit in really well with it as well.
Music,
it's got that sort of technical, sort of bouncy feel to it. So it's
avian disco. They're calling it.
It's a new modern thing nowadays, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a new trend. Yeah.
Like you go to the clubs now. That's what they play, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've enjoyed it. The music's fantastic, and as you say, it's coming out in August.
August 2016. Yeah.
I'm guessing, is that just on Steam, or is that?
That'll be Steam.
Yeah.
Possibly Linux. We're looking into that, and hopefully consoles
at some stage. Maybe around the same sort of time.
Maybe around that time, if not a bit later.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for playing.
So that was Stephen.
It was
from Super Hatch Games.
There was 3 of them there. I think it was Stephen, the guy that I spoke to, who worked on a lot of stuff. I don't know, PSVR stuff before he left and wanted to make his own game.
Oh, okay. Featherpunk Prime. Check that out, folks.
Check it before you wreck it.
It's due out in, I think it says August, according to Stuffs.
Due.
So, yeah, did you play any big titles that were there? Because I saw Dead Souls 3 was there.
Dark Souls. No, Dark Souls 3, the line for that was ridiculous on both days, so yes. I knew I wasn't going to get to touch that, so I thought I best steer clear of that sort of area and let all the people that haven't played it play it before so I can go and play my stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit more interesting. I did play a game called Knee Deep, which is another indie game, which I've never seen it before, but he's on the bottom of his computer, he put an eye tracker.
Okay.
So basically it's like a murder mystery game where you just pick what happened, like pick how you respond to like tweets and how you respond to people in the environment and find out data, find out information, and you affect people by tweeting about it because you're a reporter.
Right.
So as soon as you tweet about it, you affect the next group of people in a sense, or you affect the people in the past if you have to go back to them. But when you're in an area, instead of moving, you've got an eye tracker.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just for this one, but you could look around, and the eye tracker would pick up who you're looking at, and then start a conversation with them.
Huh.
Which was quite interesting because I've never seen anything like that before. So as I was playing it, I was going, "This is really cool." Like, I haven't seen anything implemented like this before.
Oh, it looks really interesting.
It is, actually.
And only £20 for all 3 episodes.
Well, there we go. I think I've also got a code for one of the episodes.
Oh, nice. Well, the new one is... the latest episode has just come out. So you can pick up all 3 now on Humble Store.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Another game that, if you like Hitman, you might like. If you weren't so keen on the newer Hitmans and you want like something different in terms of Hitman, was No Trace. Which I said to him, it looks like Hitman.
No
like
trace in her, get no love. Oh no, that's No Scrubs. Sorry.
For me, sitting on the No Trace side, try to no trace on me. I don't know.
No.
We're both down there now. We might as well just keep going. No Trace is very similar to Hitman, whereas it's from top-down position. The AI responds all programmed differently. So when you shoot one, or shoot at one, he might be deaf, so he might not be able to hear very well, or he might run away and get other guys to come and help take you out, or he just might be a lot better at shooting than the others. It's kind of unusual, but you don't have to just take everyone out. You just have one guy to take out. So if you could shoot out like one guy to dress up as one and just go into the house and take out your main target, just walk back out again, rather than killing everyone, which is kind of nice. I think I got entered into a competition to win that game as well, because I did it kind of quickly. So I don't know if we'll win that one. Probably won't, because there's a lot of people going back to playing that one.
Well, you got to be optimistic.
Well, you never know. Things do happen, you know. I also got to play Carmageddon.
Oh yeah, the new one, Carmageddon Max Damage.
It is indeed. All of the damage was needed for Carmageddon. I got to play on one of the new vehicles.
Yeah?
I changed all the vehicles to all the new vehicles, and they put on the first level from Carmageddon, which is the one with the stadium. You go over the bridge. You
very
take
little
a right.
remembrance of the original Carmageddon.
Right. All you need to know is that there's one where you go straight over a bridge, and then you're meant to take a right. If you keep going, there's a stadium full of football players and cheerleaders, and you can just wipe them all out. With the new vehicle that I was playing with, it's really weak and it's hard to turn in. And the guys that were watching me play, like who actually made the game, were like, "How are you turning so well?" I was just like, "Am I?" I just thought I was struggling at playing this game because I thought I sucked. And I picked they said you picked like one of the hardest vehicles, bar the Sergeant Slaughter, I think his name is, who's just like like a hot rod, and it just goes straight back up on his top 2 wheels as he drives.
Yeah.
This one's like an airplane engine in the middle, and it sucks people in as he drives past. So you'll just see their bodies fly out into the screen.
Well, we might have to look in to see if we can chat to them.
Yes, good fun to play, to be honest. Like, it was exactly how I wanted it to be for that game.
Nice.
Being horribly, terribly amazing in terms of killing people, a lot of them, and also not being able to control the vehicle very well. Another game that I wanted to get onto, but I didn't, because every time it was constantly being blocked up with people playing it, because it was only one screen on this one, was Grip.
It's what? Grip?
Grip, yeah. It's a driving game, but you can drive on all the walls. And it looks very sort of like, I can't remember the name of the game from the PlayStation 1.
Roll Cage.
It might be Roll Cage. Let me have a look. Roll Cage.
That's what it says on their website.
Well, that's probably the game that I'm thinking of then.
Roll Cage was amazing.
Roll Cage game. Yes! Roll Cage! I loved Roll Cage. That's the game that I was thinking of when I was trying to figure out what the game was like. Yeah, I should do. What? Because you read it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Roll Cage. And I loved the look of this, because it was exactly like Roll Cage, shockingly. I might have to see if I can get a copy of Roll Cage. That was a really nice game, like, just watching it, going up on all the walls, exactly like Roll Cage, with, like, different weapons and so on and so forth, and I was just really impressed by it.
Cool. Yeah, it does look quite good. Who else did you interview?
Who else did I interview? I interviewed Void21. Unfortunately, this is a very, very short interview. I only got to play it for like the whole of 2 minutes before I had to interview them. But it's an endless runner game, like Run the Sun.
Or Run to the yeah.
Yes, which is free on the PlayStation Network if you were like a member.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the difference is you've got weapons, so you have to shoot down certain areas. The guy's never done an interview before. So there's me, absolutely knackered, and a guy that's never done an interview before, trying to do an interview. Yeah, I think we had a few giggles. So we tried, but we laughed quite a bit. So that's the main thing. We had some fun. Hello, this is Phil from Noah's Arcade, and I have
Justin
from
Taranasus Studio.
We're here to talk about Void 21.
Yeah, that is right.
What is the game about?
So Void 21, we were trying to go for a runner style game, but the thing is, runner styles feel a little bit stale in this day and age, so we were trying to push the genre forward. We literally went on and added guns to it and modules, so you can customize your ship, customize everything about your experience, and just blast through it, or you can still do the runner style and just run from everything. Your choice. We wanted to get a nice Tron-like, arcade-like aesthetic in a world that's everything's super realistic now, and we hopefully did a good job.
Yeah, it feels really smooth when you're like obviously like going around the corners and stuff like that, and obviously it's got I'm trying to think of the other games that I've played that are similar now, but obviously you've got like the ability to crash into one thing, and then when you crash again, you obviously that's your fault.
Yeah.
You die. Where did you get your basis from? Like, what games have you played to obviously build up to what you've got now?
So we got the racing idea, the endless runner idea is obviously from Race the Sun. It's really low, it's kind of like ours, really low poly, really low, just an endless runner. But we wanted to go more for like a Tron aesthetic, mainly because it's not necessarily easy to analyze, but brings back nostalgia of the old arcade times.
Yeah.
Then we got our inspiration from Guns, from actually a game called Jets and Guns. It's not old, it's old-ish title. A lot of customization in that game, so we wanted to bring that kind of level of customization into ours. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Other inspirations, I guess, Distance, because that also has a neon Tron-like feel to it. And funny enough, the subreddit /r/outrun, which goes for this art style of 80s neon art.
Okay. I saw you had the ability to change the background color into like a Game Boy style.
Yeah, so we added a few cheat codes. Nostalgia with us is kind of, I'm a bit old myself, so Nostalgia with us is kind of a big thing. There are cheat codes in there, like the cheat code Game Boy. You just type it in at any point and it changes it to an art style of an old Game Boy screen. Or you can type in Toaster and it changes it to a CRT kind of display, so you can play like that if you want. Not necessary, but you know, just for the fun factor.
Okay. So the game itself, is it coming out just on PC or is it coming out on...
So right now it's coming out on Windows PC. We're currently hard at work at the Linux and Mac ports for it, and after that demand has been high for Android and iOS releases, so we're going to have to look into that. It's a bit more difficult with those ones, mainly because we have to switch from keyboard, mouse, or joystick to touch inputs, and that's a bit tricky. We're actually looking into using Bluetooth controllers as well, but the lag between input to screen, although not noticeable for most games, in this one it's really going to cost you, because everything's like split-second reaction.
Okay. I've literally just gone blank, I'm really sorry. Is there any sort of release date that you've got for it?
We've already released. It's been released on the 4th of April. That's fine. It's perfectly fine. We didn't have much of a release or anything because we're pretty unknown right now. Hopefully that will change after EGX and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's out on Steam. You can get it, and it also supports the Oculus Rift consumer version and the DK2. If you want to use either, that's fine.
How does that work? Is that with like looking through the front, or do you just
both? If you press right now, the default binding is C, and it changes from third person to first person, and that works the same in the Oculus as well. So you can choose whichever one you want.
That would be amazing to play that in first person.
Yeah, but mind you, it is a bit nausea-inducing, not necessarily because of the Oculus. It's more of a try going in the Bugatti Veyron.
But I really enjoyed the game myself. But yeah, that's already out, and you're looking to obviously expand to like mobile phones. Is that like obviously got a date for that, or is that just
we don't
trying
have
to settle
necessarily
it?
a date for it yet. We're actually pretty much still working on the time frame for everything. For Linux and Mac ports, we're trying to get it in a month's time from now to get it out, because it's not much. It's just porting it and fixing the bugs, and there's not many of those.
Yeah.
For Android, hopefully at most 4 months down the line. It's hard to say at this point.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Well, I think that's everything. Is there anything you want to add to anything, or?
Depends.
Depends. Go for it.
Okay. We're starving!
So you need some food.
That's fine.
Basically, buy the game because they need some food.
Also, if you want, actually, I'm serious now. If you want to try out the game, there's a demo on Steam. I know that demos aren't the popular thing these days. Just go on YouTube and watch it. But if you want to actually try it for yourself, there's a demo on Steam, and it gives about 8 hours of content. So try that out. Don't buy it if you don't like it. It's one of those things. Okay,
no, that's fine. That's fantastic. So everyone can download the demo, and if they enjoy it, they can just go and straight away buy it.
We are firm believers in try before you buy. You shouldn't just buy stuff.
Excellent. Well, I think that's everything by the sounds of it.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. Sorry if that sounded a bit bad, but this is my first time, and I believe it's your first time. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Good stuff there, Phil. Let me go through a few titles that I have noticed and ask if you check them out.
Go for it. Hit me.
Raging Justice.
Raging Justice. I want to figure out which one that is now.
That was a side-scrolling Final Fight, Streets of Rage kind of game.
I don't think I did. No.
I've been like...
Actually, I don't even think I saw that there, unless it was in a weird area. Let me have a look at my map. My worldwide map.
They're on our Twitter, because we met them at EGX last year, and they seem to have footage and stuff up, so...
No, it's not on the indie area.
Oh, okay.
That's
what about
strange.
Postal Redux?
Oh, I played that, yes.
Was it good?
It was good. It was... I see the thing is, I haven't played the first one. But I've told it was very similar to the first one. Did you ever play the first one?
No.
Okay. I played the second one, which is the first person one, but this one's from like a top-down look.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one you could go around for a little while and not get attacked by people. Whereas this one you instantly get attacked by people, so it's a different look. So I was just like, I'm not used to this so much, but I do enjoy it because you're still hearing people screaming, swearing, and fires everywhere and rocket launchers and things like that. It's a good take on like a classic game in a sense. And nicely enough, they've given me the first one and the second one for free.
Oh, nice.
Annoyingly, I went back to go and get you one, and they ran out.
Oh, wow.
I think it was just a day one thing. But I have got a Carmageddon t-shirt if you want that.
Oh, yes, please.
And I've also got a Carmageddon
t-shirts.
And I've got a Carmageddon lanyard as well.
Sweet. What other freebies did you get?
I know how much you love badges.
I do love badges.
I've got one for binaries.
What's binaries?
Binaries is a very simplistic game in a sense. It's 2 balls that you have to go to a certain area, but like on 2 different screens in a sense. So the screen's split off in half, but you're controlling both balls at the same time. So you've got like on one screen you have spikes at the bottom, so you've got to jump over them.
Yeah.
But on the other screen you'll have spikes at the top in a certain area, so you have to jump over them without hitting the spikes on the top. Otherwise you fail and you have to start again.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like I'm probably describing it horribly, but it's a very, very simplistic game, but takes a lot of work to do in terms of actually like finishing a level.
Oh, okay. Was it good?
I didn't get to play it. I watched other people play it because there's only one screen again to play it. A lot of these games only had one screen for you to like try and give it a go, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. So I got a little bit like I've got to get around everything. But I'm just looking at the Binaries launch trailer now, and it does look like it gets a hell of a lot harder during time, because the orange area I think is just for the orange ball, whereas the blue area is for like the blue ball. So there's one picture I've got here is like 2 orange squares with a teleport in the middle to get to the end, and then around the outside of that is like a massive maze for the blue ball to get to the end.
Around the outside.
Around the outside, 2 10-bar girls go around the outside. You know how they go. They always go around the outside.
Did you play Just Cause 3 Sky Fortress, or did you just snag me a little figure?
I snagged you a little figure because I'm such a good person.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And because I won't shut up about it.
You wouldn't shut up about it. I wanted to jump on Syndrome, but I kept going back, and the guy was on there for at least about an hour and a half, 2 hours playing it.
Wow.
Just the same guy. It looked really interesting, but I didn't get to play it, unfortunately. Did get to play Banner Saga 2, which was, as expected, Banner Saga style. I can't really say much. If you've played that Banner Saga 1, expect to be happy because it's Banner Saga 2, same sort of thing, just a little bit better. But yeah, if you haven't, then I don't really know what I have to say. Banner Saga. Well, hey, Banner Saga.
And
go on, sorry, what other games did you say you wanted me to play?
I can't remember now. Did you play Worms WMD?
Didn't find it anywhere. I'm guessing it's probably in the Xbox section.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, because they were doing their... They had their... Oh, that would have been where Thingy Bob was. Raging Justice.
That's probably where Raging Justice was. I know that's where we interviewed... Do you know Aero?
Yes.
We interviewed... They were in there, because I saw them walking around. I was like, oh, you're right, guys. You probably don't remember me, but I'm from Nerds Arcade. Did an interview with you. Where are you guys now? And they were like, in the Xbox section. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I saw that Mad Fellows were there. We need to check in with them, really.
We do. Won't. It's me knocking at the door.
You might need to knock a bit louder. We'll tag them.
Right.
Say that we mentioned them.
Yeah, we will do. Hey, how you guys?
Hey. So.
How you guys?
We got one last interview, didn't we?
We did. We got one more interview that I remember is down here, and it's called City of the Shroud. Or Shroud?
Yeah, City of the Shroud.
Which is up on Kickstarter at the moment. They're already over 50% in less than a day, apparently. So they're doing really well, shockingly.
I have the Kickstarter page open on my screen, funnily enough, and of their $14,000 target, they're at $12,500 with 22 days to go.
Wow.
So
not much left to do then.
No. So that looks like it's going to be funded.
I will admit, they did say they have tried to do it once before on Kickstarter, and they didn't hit their target.
Oh, okay. Well, then, obviously, it's worked this time around.
It's a different setup this time.
Oh, okay.
But the guy will explain it to you in the interview.
Aha.
Mhm.
So we're handing over to the interview now.
Let's get ready to interview.
Did you do that every time?
I wish I did, because that would have been a hell of a lot funnier. Right, hello, and it's Phil from Noah's Arcade again. I'm here with
Keaton from Abyssal Arts.
showing off City of the Shroud. Sorry, I'm not tired at all.
City of the Shroud.
Tell me a little bit about City of the Shroud.
So there are two main facets to the game. One is it's a tactical RPG with a combo-based battle system.
Yeah.
And the other is it's a visual novel, or it's very story-driven with a system that lets the players of the game influence the story for everyone else.
Okay.
So as people play the story, they're choosing sides and making decisions, and that information gets reported back to us.
Okay.
And we take that information and use it to write the next chapter of the plot.
Okay.
So in effect, everybody is kind of democratically doing a choose-your-own-adventure.
Okay.
And then we have a professional novelist who's writing the dialogue and the story and the evolution of it in response to player choices.
So, like, everyone's play through will be completely different, really, in a sense.
Yeah, well, it's like everybody, depending on the side you choose, that's the perspective you're going to get on the plot. But everyone else making different choices gets their own perspective. So we're effectively writing like 5 RPGs in one. Which is why it's episodic. So you play through based on your choice, and then your choice will maybe boost the faction that you've sided with, but also cause them to distrust another faction.
Okay.
And as these things play out, alliances get formed or broken, people turn on each other, and the politics kind of drive the story, but the players drive the politics.
Okay. The actual the gameplay of it is like a grid-based. Obviously, the way we're going with it, but the attack scheme. How did you come up with that? Because that's quite unusual. Like, I've never seen anything like that before.
So we were like, okay, we want a combat system in a tactical game that feels like an action or a fighting game. We want short, fast battles, and we want abilities that chain together so that you're thinking not just where do I put my character and what do I use, but also what abilities can I combine to be more effective.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of just kind of like juggling different things mentally in order to outpower your opponent.
Because it feels like there's a lot, when I played it, there's a lot going on at one time. So like, when you get, because you start off and it's quite like basic, and then you just jump into a big fight. It's like, hang on a minute.
The difficulty ramp of the demo is pretty steep.
Yeah.
And we had a debate about it, and we were like, well, we can either make it smooth and make it easy, but then by the time you get to it, you're only going to play 2 battles.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, let's just make a more like whoa battle,
so
that people can experience it.
Yeah.
And then just tone the AI so that it still feels challenging without posing like a huge risk to the player.
It's definitely felt challenging. It definitely felt challenging. I think I had like 2 guys left at the end, which wasn't like the fighters.
In our game, it is normal to lose characters in a battle.
When the characters die, do they come back, or are they do come back?
So it's like a fighting game. They just get KO'd kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So you don't lose the character. They come back in the very next battle fully healed.
So it's not that they're dead and there's a new storyline that you haven't got them. And
no. So your team is just kind of like your team of fighters, and then the main players of the story are they're separate from that.
Okay. Seems to be talking quite a lot about fighters. Is that like something that you like, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so we really wanted to capture that feeling of like comboing and using special abilities, and also like thinking on your feet, and like you're reacting, but you're almost reacting by instinct.
Yeah.
So we wanted a tactical game that would feel that way. So we were like, okay, you can't have a tactics game that's buried in menus and dice rolls.
Yeah,
it has to be fully in the hands of the player. But it also has to be a system that's going to allow for a lot of different mechanics and be really flexible. And we were like, the 2 options were do something like this, which has more depth, because the different abilities chain together in different ways. So like how you equip your character matters a whole lot.
Yeah.
It was that, or just issue the command.
Like a slow-paced version.
And we were like, the idea of take this same combat, but just have it be like, do this attack, now do this attack, now do this attack, seemed really boring.
Yeah,
so,
you do find that with a lot of games like that, where it does seem quite slow. With this, it seems very fast-paced, and when you're actually doing it, you're having to think like ahead of what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, you get that in other games, but this is like you're having to think like 3 or 4 steps in front and make sure that everyone's lined up in a certain way. So there's a lot more depth to it. Where did you get the idea for it?
So I used to work for Capcom.
Okay.
And so working for Capcom, you get exposed to Street Fighter, Devil May Cry, and action games. And so it was like, but I basically grew up playing Mega Man, Final Fantasy. And so I was like, okay, I love tactics. I really like tactical RPGs that kind of capture that grand story feel. I really enjoy XCOM.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah, and I'm just like, but I was like, I don't want to spend 30 to 45 minutes per battle anymore. And I was like, working for Capcom, I'm like, okay, I want fast-paced, I want combos, I want systems that feel good, not just to like pull off a thing, but to actually be making the inputs of that thing. And so we're like, how do we take that feeling and combine it with this genre? And so we just iterated and iterated and iterated, and we tested everything we could think of until we got to a system where we're like, we really like how this plays. We're like, we know it's pretty different than what people are used to seeing. There's all familiar stuff, and you kind of have to play it like 5-10 minutes before you're like, oh, okay, I got it. And we're like, okay, that's probably going to make us a little bit niche, but we can make a game that we find way more interesting if we do that. So we're like, we're indie. That's the kind of thing we should be doing anyway. So that's been the goal the whole time, is to kind of embrace that uniqueness of it and really try and make a system that captures those feelings. Because we have the opportunity to. If we were a AAA studio, we wouldn't have that option.
No, you wouldn't. You say it's like a story, so basically like you'll have an episodic sort of gameplay, so I'm guessing it'll come out depending on how people have played before. Is that going to be different for everyone else, or is it just going to be depending on how the community play it?
So it's just based on the community. So when you play the game, your decisions get sent to our basically internal system. And that's like, we get kind of the output from everybody, but it's all cumulative. So it's like 30 people sided with this person, and 100 people sided with this person, and 1,000 people sided with this person. And then we can be like, well, this person is clearly ahead. What does that mean? What do we do with that? How do we make that interesting for people? But if people like abandon a faction entirely, even if you're like the one diehard person left in it, it might get destroyed
because of the community.
But the result of that is, if you're part of that, you will be there to experience that destruction. That's part of the story. So it's not like you can't choose that option. It's like, the leader is going to come to you. They're like, we're desperate. Things are terrible. Here's what we need to do, and you're going to try and do whatever.
So the storyline's going to change for that individual, but it will be a little bit different to someone else's storyline. But
so like each individual player, so there are basically going to be the 5 storylines that are in the game, and you as the player, your decisions are going to take you down one of those 5 paths.
That's cool. I obviously noticed that you're on Kickstarter. I've been told that you're on about a day and a half, roughly.
We've been on for not quite a day.
Not quite a day. And you've already got 50% so far, I've been told.
We're a little over 50%, so that is a good feeling.
That's a very good feeling. I've spoke to a lot of people that are obviously on Kickstarter that don't seem to hit their targets prior. They've managed to get and produce their game. But I think it's a bit more of a depressing feeling when you've obviously got on the Kickstarter and you're hoping to hit the target and you just don't do it. Obviously, for you, that's different.
This is our second attempt too. So we learned a lot from our first go, and we wanted to do it. It was one of the things where, like, when we set out to make the game, we're like, we want to make a community that is engaged in what we're doing, so we want to find people who like the idea. So that was one of the reasons we went for Kickstarter. We really misread the modern state of Kickstarter when we launched our last one. So we made a lot of mistakes. So we basically talked to a lot of people, analyzed our mistakes. We're like, okay, what do we need to do this time to be successful? Did that. It seems to have worked pretty well. Hopefully we hit our target and maybe go over it. And then that allows us to release the game significantly faster.
Okay,
And then the rest of the stuff that we have to do to the game, we were planning to cover ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
So it takes longer than if we had hit our first Kickstarter goal, which was the, like, everything. But either way, the game gets done. This just helps us get that much farther along. That much faster.
So I'm guessing once you've hit the full target, there are going to be stretch goals, are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's basically like every time we hit a target, the game gets done faster. Like,
that's one thing. That's the one main thing of looking at it.
Yeah, and like there are things that we have going for us. Like we're approved to develop for Sony platforms if we choose that. So if we make it far enough, that might be a stretch goal.
Okay, that's cool.
And like we're building it in Unity, so theoretically, and it runs on Windows and Mac, so theoretically getting it to run on Linux is not that much of a challenge. So, you know, if there are people who are like, I want this on Linux, if they're willing to help us test builds out of our system and figure out, you know, if anything's broken, then yeah, absolutely, why not add Linux?
That's cool.
So it's like we really want to get players involved and like hear what they think.
It's a very community-style game in a sense. Obviously, you'll want to get as much feedback from the players as much as possible by the sounds of it, which is a nice thing. So you don't get many games out there that do that nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. Just like talking to people and getting their feedback on the game, like what do they think? Oh, this confuses me, and then I get to sit there and be like, okay, how do I address that?
Yeah.
Why is it confusing? What could I change to make it less confusing? And like that's been our whole approach to the entire development. So getting to do that with a larger group of people is really exciting.
Yeah. Well, obviously you got the whole of the world to obviously help you out on that one. I'm guessing you haven't got an official date of launch yet, but I'm guessing sometime next year, maybe?
Probably. Yeah. If we do really well on Kickstarter, we can probably launch earlier, but I think it's better to play it safe.
Yeah.
Because I'd really like to make sure we polish and release a quality final product.
Yeah.
So, like right now, I'd like to get it out kind of like first quarter, so like, you know, February, March-ish.
Yeah.
Our Kickstarter has March 2017 listed as the like, boy, I hope we don't have to go past that. Which I really don't. Mechanically, the game is basically built.
Done. Yeah.
Like we built all the, we just have to polish it and make it look pretty.
Yeah.
That is all we have to do.
So not too much left to do in a sense.
Yeah. It's like, you know, we added controller supports. The game is fully playable with a controller. The controls that we have in there may not be the ideal controls. So if people play it, they're like, oh, I hate the thing you use as the action button. Use this instead.
Okay.
And like, we just change that setting, and there we go. And like, you know, there are bugs and things that we need to fix, but like, to its credit, I have never managed to crash the game.
That's one good thing.
I really, like, I'm really anal about crash bugs, so I'm just like, yes, it's stable. So like, you know, and it doesn't have any load times for whatever reason. That's magical.
That's awesome.
Which
makes it so much better.
Yeah, you just click it, it's there.
Yeah.
I actually develop it on a MacBook, and it's just like, it's not a powerful machine at all. And it runs the game, and I'm just like, min-spec, there we go.
Done.
But yeah, like the story system, we've already tested it and done a live demo. So we know that we can retrieve information from players and then turn that around and get new quests into the game almost instantly.
Oh wow!
Episodically, when we have more time, that just means we can write more and in-depth material.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just like, you know, like, so we know that we can do the story thing that we're talking about. Because we've already done it. We know the combat is fun because people play it and they like it.
Yeah.
So then it's just a matter of, okay, how do we polish it to make it more approachable, more understandable? What information do people want? What would make it feel better? Getting the other character classes in the game. You know, they're all designed and like mechanically in there, but there are no character models.
Yeah.
So like that's the kind of stuff that we have left to do. So I'm really hoping that, you know, we can just hit all of our targets and get it out as soon as possible, but we'll see. There's a little bit of leeway in there. It's game development. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So you're up on Kickstarter. I'm just guessing it's just Kickstarter, and then just type in City of Shroud.
Yep.
And then obviously just like help fund you on that page there, obviously.
Yep. And every backer gets early access to the game.
Awesome.
So we're already through Greenlight. We're already on Steam. We have a coming soon page. I've already set up depots and everything. Basically, as soon as we hit our Kickstarter goal and the campaign ends, I send everyone a Steam key, and then everyone has the game in their Steam library ready to go, and then we're just going to keep updating it.
Sweet. So, what's the target you're aiming for on Steam? Not Steam. Kickstarter, sorry.
14,000 US.
40,000.
So that's like 10K pounds.
Yep.
So, like, it's not a huge goal, but it's specifically the people who made the character models last time are going to make our other 3. So I have a very accurate estimate from them, and they're going to do a few extra things to like make the game a little bit nicer, look a little bit nicer. And it's their estimate plus Kickstarter plus payment fees. That's it. Like, and it says that right on the page. So.
Oh, that's all right then. So.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing, and you know, for you may not care, but the like on the mechanical side of it, we want to we have a rig that all the characters sort of share. We want to unify it so all of the characters have the same rig, so they can share animation if need be.
Okay, yeah.
So like get hit, like oh.
Yeah.
And we made a rig that's very similar but not the same, so it builds us a new rig that we can then apply to all of the characters, and then it also reskins them so that there's no like weird tearing if they like turn their head really far.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's that sort of polish and cleanup in addition to all of the new stuff. Like most people, like you put that on a Kickstarter page, people fall asleep.
Yeah.
But you know, it's in addition to that, and then you know from there it's like okay, now we animate them, and then all of the character and combat stuff is done. It's like okay, and then we just make a few more material sets for the environments.
Yeah.
All the environments are modular, so if somebody was like, I think it would be cool if you had a map that looked like this, we can just like
add a map just like that.
You can make a map for this game in about half a day.
Okay.
Which is
nice and easy for you.
Yeah. So like, I mean, as soon like the more material we have, the more stuff we can make. But yeah, that's kind of the goal is to just.
So I'm guessing you've got about 29 days left on Kickstarter then.
Yeah,
roughly,
29 or 28.
Depending on the time.
Yeah. We launched it at 5 p.m. here. So,
okay.
Yeah. I actually, because I was here setting up, this is funny, I had to get my wife to push the button. So I gave her my login. It was like at 5 p.m. push the button. And you have to like manually push the button. You can't just say launch at 5 p.m. So she has to and Kickstarter is really specific. So if you launch at 4:59, it ends at 4:59. And it was like, and you know, it's just one of those things where you're like, you want it to end at 5.
Exactly 5,
so she just like you have to sit there and refresh the page until it says 5
oh
and then click the button.
That sounds horrible at today.
I mean, it's on top of everything. You're like on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and then you're just like refresh, 5 o'clock, launch. And then you spend 2 hours emailing because it's just like your inbox explodes. So, yeah, but like, yeah, and then like, you know, our people in the U.S. were like tweeting and Facebooking everyone, and all the people from the last Kickstarter were like, it's back!
That's good.
Like, thank you.
Yeah, so obviously City of sorry, I can't even speak right now. City of the Shroud on Kickstarter now, so go and fund that. Is there anything else you want to add before we call it? Or
no, thanks for playing. I appreciate it.
No, it's fine. I love to be able to. I always love to play the games before I actually interview people, so at least I know a little bit about the game.
Yeah.
Because obviously I got loads of emails come through in the last couple of days, and I've only had like Tuesday to even reply back because I didn't know I was going to have the time off.
Yeah.
And I was just like, better start replying, and everyone's like replied back at the same time, so I had about 60 emails coming back and forth, and then I was forgetting what everything was.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I know this one's Abyssal Arts, but I can't remember the name of the game. It looked really from the picture, it looked really arty, and I was just like, just remember it looks really arty.
Yeah.
I know it looks really arty.
It's really sad because the poster isn't quite to the specs that I got sent. So the logo is like half behind our monitor.
No.
And I'm just like, but everybody sees that.
And they look at it,
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, whatever. They don't know.
They see like a guy with like a head mask on, and they're just like, what is it?
Yeah.
I got to find out a little bit more.
Their eyes go down a bit, and then the logo's right here. So
well,
whatever.
it's not too bad. It's not too bad, is it?
It could be a lot worse.
Well, thank you very much for your chat today.
Likewise.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And I have to go, and when I finally get home and actually have some time to chill, I will fund you on Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Yep. No worries. If you need to charge your phone, let me know. It's at 9.
I get that going.
So yeah, City of the Shroud.
The guy.
Abyssal Arts.
He is.
Keaton.
That is his name. Don't wear it out.
He was a former production manager for Capcom Japan.
He is. That's why he's a big fan of fighting games.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So you enjoyed your few days at Rezzed, did ya?
I did. I wish I had more time in terms of me going up on the Friday to get more done. But, you know, these things, they happen.
Yeah, you kind of overexerted yourself and...
died on the second day.
Yeah, dead on the Friday. But
unfortunately,
these things
some
happen.
people have to die.
Well, I think what we're going to do in future is we're going to aim as a group next year,
Yep.
and maybe try and look at doing Rezzed, and if we don't get press for the main EGX, then it's no great loss.
Yeah. To be honest, I think if we hit Rezzed more than we hit that, it might be a little bit better, because we get interviews from this guaranteed, in terms of like from all the indie developers.
There were emails, the inbox was just like, interview.
I'll tell you what.
I was like, oh my god.
Did you see, like, you knew as soon as I realised that I've definitely got the time off to go up to it, because I started replying back, and then the emails flooded back within 2 seconds. I started writing them all down, and I lost the piece of paper. I was like, oh god. And I went up there, and I bought the wrong, I didn't lose it, I bought the wrong notepad. So I bought my work's notepad, which has got all my things to do with work and beers and things like that, instead of bringing the notepad that's got everything to do with gaming.
Well,
at
least we got something.
We did. Luckily enough, I spoke to a few of them. They're up for interviews in the future, so we can get those done at some point.
Excellent. So that's some upcoming episodes.
Hopefully we're doing more into episodes as well.
Fingers crossed.
We keep saying this.
It's finding the time.
It is. And at the moment, actually, I suppose have we got 4 of us now? Technically?
Kind of, yeah. I think we're still going to have a couple of sort of guest hosts, but we certainly, Lucy from last week, she has taken up the mantle of writing reviews for us. Her first review of Nitro Plus Blasters, Heroine's Infinity Duel.
Okay, that sounds like a blast.
Longest game title. Yeah, she seemed to like that. The review is up on the site now, noahsarcadeuk.tk, and you will find it on the main page. But yeah, the review is up there from herself. We got some more coming soon too, and hopefully she'll be back on the podcast as well. Keep them posted, folks. Updates galore.
Them claws. But I've also been playing, I don't know if you have you played the Battleborn beta yet?
Yeah, I wasn't keen.
No, I'm not massively keen for what it is.
But I did have a code come through to play the beta of Killstrain.
Killstrain, why does that ring a bell?
That's kind of odd. I enjoyed playing that more. I've enjoyed playing that more than I have Battleborn. Because I'm not a massive first-person kind of a guy.
It's a MOBA, but like I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. It's not amazing. It's one of those games that it's going to cost too much for what it is. I think.
Yeah.
For the other one. I'm now looking at Killstrain to see what it's like.
There's too many games out at the moment that next week is Star Fox Zero, which I cannot wait for, and on the same day is the new Ratchet and Clank.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh God, this year.
And it looks. I know I'm going to be broke. I need like time off. I keep saying it. I need time off and away from my family in order to actually play. But
do you know what? It's a really good idea. I just recently watched the episode of Dexter where the woman kills her husband and a child.
I couldn't do that. I love my I could not.
That was a long pause, Stefan. That was a long pause.
I couldn't do it. I love my son. Anyway.
Anyway.
Get me into trouble.
Ba.
Yes. Right. Well, ladies
Left,
and gentlemen,
right,
that's
maybe.
been our EGX Rezzed. Hope you've enjoyed the interviews.
Sorry, Phil wasn't that good.
But for another episode of Vanderhoff and Co, I've been High Definition.
And I've been Monkey Man Phil.
We'll see you again soon, folks.
Bye.
Laters.